What's up, everybody? Today's episode is finishing up the motor mounts on that Impala. Rock Auto just dropped my box off. See, that's why I fool with Rock Auto, man. They said it's been about 6 days, but it got here in a little bit past 2 days, about 2.2 days. We finna go on and slap this bad boy on here. Get on down with it. Know what I'm saying? Know what I'm talking about? I'm telling y'all, man, Rock Auto is a place to get them parts from, man. The only difference is they don't give you like a lifetime warranty on stuff like the regular parts houses do, but they gonna get them to you, man. And you ain't gotta deal with all that funny stuff. Them idiots will kill them. I'll tell y'all about this motor mount job. This motor mount job, you're gonna need at least 3 people, man, when you trying to line them boats back up. They're not gonna go in like they're supposed to. They're not, when the 2 bottom bolts go up, they're not gonna line up like they're supposed to. And then both inside is holding the bracket, it's not gonna line up like it's supposed to. So you're gonna have to have somebody standing up outside the engine with a pry bar. And you gotta release those, unscrew those completely from the car to the 2 motor mount brackets. There's a pop holding the engine together. That's the only way you're gonna get all them bolts lined up. So regardless of what you watching online, they're lying to you, man. It's gonna take about 3 people. So if you don't have 3 people, I promise you, don't try this, man. The other thing is make sure you got jack stands. If you don't have jack stands, don't try this, man. Do not trust them jacks, man. Anyway, so if you got about 3 people and you got your car secured on a jack stand, the first thing you're gonna do, take your car to the car wash, and you're gonna take the wheel off, completely out. And with soap and water, you're gonna spray all that dirt, grease, oil, whatever you wanna call it. Spray it, because when you start working on that car, man, all that stuff gonna start falling down. It's gonna get in your eyes, it's gonna get in your hair, it's gonna get in your nose, and your mouth. In the car wash, and spray it. And then you also wanna get on the ground while you're at the car wash and spray up under there when you're working. There's gonna be all kinds of grease, dirt, rocks, dust, sand, everything. So you want to take your time and spray all that junk out the way so you can see what you're doing, and you'll be able to, do what you're doing. The next thing is when you get back to the house, you're gonna first thing you jack the car, take the wheel off, sport cone jack stand. They're like a 1x4 piece of wood, probably about that long. It can't be too long because you need that 1x4 to sit on your floor jack to lift up the transmission evenly. So 2x4, 1x4, either one of those will work. Because you're gonna put that on the pan. You don't want to lift that transmission up on that transmission pan and make bust it and put a dent in it. Then something else gonna be, go wrong. So get your piece of wood, run across the jack, gonna run like this. Transmission gonna be sitting up here. Gonna lift it up like that. It's gonna be good to go. All right. And so what you're gonna do, you're gonna start jacking it up slowly. You wanna jack it up slow so you see where the transmission is level. Because if the motor mount bad, the transmission is tilted. It's tilted like this, so you want the transmission like that. It ain't gotta be perfect, but you just wanna get it kind of back level. So the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna go, when you're under the car, you're gonna loosen those 2 transmission bolts. You're gonna loosen the 2. That side motor mount bracket out, or screw out, if you can. But if you can't, do the other 2 bolts is going up like that into the holding the bracket to the transmission. And when you do that, what's gonna happen is the transmission gonna come apart from the motor mount, because you gotta loosen those 2 screws up and sitting on top of the bracket in order to get the whole thing out. So once you loosen those screws up, then you're gonna take the bracket, the top bracket off the motor mount, take that out the way. Then you'll be able to lift the motor mount completely up, because you'll be having to jack the jack up to give you room to pull the motor mount completely out. If you can only jack the transmission up so high before you jack it up too high, then you tear up something else. So it is room, but it's not as much room as you think, because you got 2 middle lines running horizontal. It's gonna be dead smack in the way. And that's why you gotta take the bracket off to have room to maneuver and twist the motor mount to get it out, to get your clearance you need. So like I say, take your time,
Just pay attention to what you're doing. You get it. It's gonna take you a while though, but once you get it set in, just put all the screws on and line them up. And you have to have somebody up top moving the engine with that pry bar. You gotta have pry bar probably about that long. You know, you don't have to have a long pry bar. Somebody that's kind of strong. And keep your fingers out the way. Don't have your fingers in weird places, because chances are they're gonna get tired of holding that pry bar. And they're gonna need the rest. So you gotta have somebody to communicate with that's gonna work with you and make sure y'all on the same page so you don't crush your fingers and get injured. Installation, same way you took it out, it's just the reverse way. Put the motor mount in first, then get the bracket assembled on there. Don't tighten nothing down just yet, because you're gonna need room to move it, because you're trying to line the holes back up with the transmission, the bracket and the transmission mount to the engine, to the transmission and all that. You'll know talking about once you get done.
This right here, the new one, man. Pass beside motor mount. Got to put that bracket on there at some point, though. That right there, the old one. All right, everybody. Whoever designed this setup is ignorant, man. I mean, you got a world full of stupid people, but then you got some people that's just downright ignorant. You got these doggone metal return line, these lines going right in the doggone way, man. Like, it wasn't nowhere else they could have put them. And when you lift the engine up, these things come up. Look at that. Boy, that's ignorant, man. That's why people don't like fooling with American cars, man. They can be on that ignorant stuff, man. But anyways, once you jack the engine up high enough, you barely got room, man, before you run out of jacking room. Make sure you get you have a ratchet in 15 millimeters. Cause you gotta take that plate off in order to put this thing back in there, man. I understand every car might be slightly different, but that's pretty much what you're gonna have to do. Take this plate off, then spend 45 minutes getting that thing in there. Then you wanna tighten down as much as you can. But because of this lip, they got everything designed wrong in the way to make this job difficult that they can come up with. Then you have to work behind his lip, so more than likely you're gonna have to put the socket on it to get the right amount of torque on it. Alright? Ignorant man designing something like this, man. Like, they really had to have that lip. They could have came straight out and then did a 90 degree turn, went straight up. No, they want to make the job difficult, just so can't nobody work on that crap. Nobody got time to be playing with these fools, man. We just trying to get the job done and keep moving. They want you to bring it to the shop so they can bust you across the head. But remember, if man feels how to do it yourself and break it and save money, it's always a way to get around that stupidity, man. I'm on y'all side. Remember, we're on the same team, buddy. Now, remember, once you set this motor mount in, leave it loose. Once you set this motor mount in, leave it loose. Don't tighten the screws up on the bottom yet, because you got to have that flexibility. Because like I say, man, they got this old ignorant design on here where you got to work around unnecessary stuff, you know? So that's the first thing you want to do, is make sure you do that, man. Don't torque down on that bottom part. And see, from lifting the engine, see how it's off? So I got to let it down slowly and probably jack it up 100 times and do all kinds of other ignorant mess to deal with these folks, man. But that's just a side note. So, when you're wrestling with this bracket, it's a monster. And it's almost impossible to put this thing in here by yourself. So what you got to do is you got to get your best friend on the planet to come out and hang out with you. And you put these bolts in to line them up. This one and that one. But don't screw them all the way in, because you need the slack between the bracket and the motor mount. And then you can't even put this bolt in to last, because that's what's going to keep the bracket from moving up while you line all the bolts up. So you put that bolt in last, and then you're going to have to loosen the motor mounts up top and have somebody control the engine backwards and forward with a pry bar. Then that's how you're able to line these up. So you line them up and get them started. Give them about 6 turns, but you're still gonna need the slack, because you gotta tighten up these 2 bolts. This one, and you can't see it, it's in there, but that one. And then once you tighten this up down, you put this bolt in there and you tighten that one up. Then you let the damn
jack down, and then you finish torquing those. And then you're good to go.